Here's exactly how I take a brand new Faceless YouTube channel to $10,000 a month as fast as possible. So we're starting here, we're getting here. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Adam Del Duca, hundreds of thousands of dollars with Faceless YouTube channels, as you can see, over 2 mil subs. And I've been able to help my students grow their channels. Diego, up to 20K a month in under 1 year. Yan, up to $30,000 per month with his Faceless YouTube channel. And these are the strategies that I share with my private clients. However, I'm going to be sharing with you some insights today in this video. So let's dive in. So I'm starting this channel from scratch. Let's talk about the monetization plan to start, because we want to make sure that we're able to make that money as fast as possible. So the typical approach with Faceless YouTube and YouTube in general for a lot of people is that they enter an unvalidated niche. So they haven't really looked at, can the niche make money? How much can it make? You can't be pursuing a niche that typically only makes a few $1,000s if you're trying to get to $10,000. It's kind of like trying to get a degree that can only make you $50,000 at a job and you want to make $500,000. Doesn't make any sense. And typically people enter niches where they can only earn via ad revenue. Now, ad revenue is fine, but it is not the most efficient way to make money with Faceless YouTube, especially if you're trying to hit 5 figures per month. So the fastest approach is going to be to find a niche that's validated. So it has high demand, it has multiple monetization methods, so that you can actually scale up a channel successfully and make $10,000 a month as fast as possible. And you also, like I said, want to leverage a high leverage monetization system. And that means that, again, we're not just relying on ad revenue, because that is probably the slowest way to make $10,000 per month. So let me just share with you why the traditional approach fails for most people, and which is why most people do YouTube and they do it wrong. They don't make the money that they want. So let's just assume that the average niche on YouTube is paying $5 per 1,000 views, RPM, which is how much money you take home per 1,000 views. You're trying to make your 10K a month. It's going to require 2 million views per month to get there. Now, that's just a view threshold that's just simply too high for most people to be able to reasonably sustain. 2 million views a month is a lot. Even for someone as experienced as myself, it's not an easy feat. So trying to take that approach, and especially because people just go on this journey thinking that they'll make $10,000 a month and haven't done the math, it's actually pretty hard to get to. Now, the fastest approach is going to be having some sort of offer. And honestly, I'm just going to cut it like, tell you like it is, cut to the chase. You need to be selling something, ideally some sort of digital asset on your channel to make your 10K a month as fast as possible. So let's say you're selling something for $50, you're converting at 0.25%, which is next to nothing. Even with just 100,000 views per month on your channel, which you can probably get to in your first couple months if you have the right strategy, you can easily be making 5 figures per month, right? So just to give you an example, I didn't want to just ChatGPT the fact that that's a conversion rate that's doable. I've been selling online ebooks via Gumroad for years now. This is just one product I've sold. So I've made 227 sales and my product is $100 for an ebook. Based on 36,000 views, I have a 0.6% conversion rate, which is probably not great, but I haven't optimized it at all, and it's still more than double what I'm sharing with you as a recommendation for a monetization approach. So over 2x our conversion rate used in our model, right? So it's definitely doable to convert on traffic based on your YouTube views at a reasonable rate that's going to make you thousands of dollars per month. Now let's talk about the niche validation process, which again is something most people get wrong, but we're not going to get it wrong, and we're going to scale a channel to $10,000 a month as fast as possible. It's going to require identifying high demand niches and validating present offers. So we want to see what's already working on other channels and emulate it. And the tool that I like to use to do this is going to be TubeLab. It's very cost effective. It's really good for filtering channels that are going to align to your growth and income goals. So one of the channels I came across with this tool is Productivity Game. So basically I use the filters to find channels that are going to meet my needs. And here we go. You can see the channel. Obviously, you can see the revenue on this channel is actually quite low. You can see the RPM is pretty decent, so on and so forth. It's a pretty big channel, well established. However, we're not trying to simply get to $10,000 a month just with ad revenue alone, because obviously this would not be cutting it. We want to find a channel that we can build, that we can sell offers from, and that's going to scale up our income much faster and much greater than ad revenue ever could. So if we open up this channel, here's one of their videos, The Real Secret to Lasting Success. So you can see in their videos, they're actually promoting one of their products, which is the Productivity Game Academy. So if we open up this right here, you can see that they're basically charging $120 for annual access to bonus material from the channel. Now, the cool part about this is going to be the following, is that they just simply promote this in each one of their videos, and you can see here that this is something that people can easily sign up for, and it is tied directly to the content. So this is a membership about personal growth, and the channel is all about basically summarizing personal development videos, right? So what you really want to be doing if you want to build out a channel that's going to basically mimic this strategy right here is you want to be creating a digital product, so something like an ebook, a mini course, etc., that solves the pain points of viewers. So basically, you want someone to come to your page, think, I have this issue, I'm really looking to solve it, which is why they're already watching your videos, and then you offer them something of higher value that they'd be willing to pay for. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, who the hell is going to pay $75, $100 for an ebook? But as I just showed you up above here, you know, I've been able to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of just ebooks that are, you know, between the prices of $50 and $150 each. So a digital product is not necessarily, you know, just the frame of it dictates the price. What actually dictates it is the solution that it's providing to the person that's buying it, which is why paying $100 for a book that teaches you everything about YouTube or everything about resolving your back pain or being a good parent is actually worth the money. Now, what you also want to do is sell your product on a recognized platform. So I use Gumroad, you can use WAP, you can use Kajabi, any of these platforms. Just making sure it's something that people are familiar with, because otherwise they may be a little bit suspect on buying. Now, we need to talk about the next part of the process, which is going to be format selection. So if you're unfamiliar, a format of a video relates to its length, structure, and appearance. So you can make short, medium, long videos. You can structure them to be how-tos, listicle stories, or, you know, you can even have different appearances like third-party footage. You could do stock footage, animations, AI avatars, so on and so forth, right? Now, the whole goal around this is that you want to be using a unique format that's differentiated in the market. You want your content to stand out so that you can get traction faster, and that's what's going to allow us to start making money sooner. So if you just copy what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the results that everyone else is getting, but probably worse because you're coming to the market late. So we want to add in something new that's going to be novel to the market. So here's an example of a common format in the niche. The book summary niche, for example, is a very old and saturated niche on YouTube. And you can see right here what that tends to look like, which are video scribe videos. Nothing wrong with it, but it could be improved. But this is a trending format working right now, which are tube gen videos where basically animations are being created that look like popular TV show characters. In this case, we have Family Guy, right? So that's working particularly well. How do I know this? Because my student built it, scaling to tens of thousands of dollars per month. And if you do want to build a channel with me directly, kind of like he did, you can click the link below in this video's description and learn more about that. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about after we've picked a format that's going to be unique in the market is we need to talk about the ideation process, because if you don't have the right ideas, you're not going to attract the right audience that are going to actually convert on what you are trying to sell. So we want to find topics that people are interested in watching and then use that to apply our unique format to. So my recommendation, if you want to make this really simple on yourself, is to identify 3 to 5 role model channels in your niche, okay? And then you're going to use vidIQ to basically come up with topics for your channel. So let me take a look at this, and I'm just going to walk you through how you can find role model channels. You can either just write in like book summaries or whatever the keyword is for your niche. I also like to use a tool like the Next Level browser extension, which basically allows you to find similar channels. So I'm just going to walk you through how this works, right? So you have a channel like this, Upgraded Mentality. You have a channel like this, 1% Better. You have a channel like this, Time for Growth, right? You have a channel like this, a little bit better. So if I open up a few of these, what we're going to see is we're going to see different book summary channels, right? This is actually probably the same book, Slight Edge Method, as on here, right? So we take a look, the slight edge. So why is this going to be important? Because we can see which videos are gaining traction, still getting viewership, so that we can create videos with our own format that's going to be new to the market, but still about books in this particular case that people want to watch, right? So my recommendation for you is that you either use the trending videos option on YouTube, which basically populates the videos here. But obviously it's not working right now. But the other way you can do this is just simply look at the views per hour option right here. So I usually recommend the students that I'm working with directly that they target topics that have at least 50 views per hour, because that's going to basically indicate videos that people are currently watching. If people are currently watching videos that are, again, on these particular topics, they can also be watching videos on those topics created by your channel. Now, if there are videos that are consistently not getting any viewership at all, then probably not topics that you want to pursue. Again, knowing what topics to create is one of the fastest ways to start scaling up your channel, because if you're not getting views, you're not making any money, right? So again, a couple of the ways you can do this when the browser extension's working is you basically go view trending videos, and it's going to pull up videos that have the most views per hour, or you can just simply look at the results. But again, you will need vidIQ to do this part of the process. Now, you may be wondering, okay, Adam, I understand, but I'm very concerned about the production of my videos because I'm not an editor. I don't really know how to write YouTube scripts. I need help with that. So when it comes to producing videos, we want to make sure that we have a production system that can support the video format that we're trying to employ, and we can use it to create videos around the topics that we've identified. So I want to identify a couple tools that are going to take the whole process off your plate. So the first thing that you can use is tubegen.ai. So it's going to be able to write your scripts for you. It's going to be able to do your voiceovers, and it's going to give you the images for the video. So all you have to do is literally just enter in here the topic of the video, and then it's going to generate the script for you, okay? So this is a super simple way to create videos, and then it's even going to create the voiceover for you. Now, on top of that, it's going to let you pick a style for your videos. In this particular case, it can also do custom styles, which is how my student was able to basically create some sort of Family Guy type style on YouTube. And then if you're thinking, Adam, I don't know how to design thumbnails, I'm not an expert on Photoshop, not to worry, because you can just simply use other thumbnails on YouTube as a reference point. And so how this works basically is that you're just going to simply enter in the link from the video. And then what it's going to do is it's going to basically get the description of that thumbnail. And then you can just use the prompts to basically cultivate what you want it to look like, right? So in this particular case here, it's actually telling you, okay, this is what this image includes. And so then you can just modify the description to be whatever you want it to be. So instead of, two people, you want it to be one person. The person's wearing a red shirt instead of a blue shirt, so on and so forth, right? And so that's going to make it super easy for you to make thumbnails, because let's face it, the easier you can make this process, the more effective you're going to be at scaling up your channel, because you're going to be able to produce more videos in a shorter time span. Now, one of the key things that no one tells you, but I will, and we're 16 minutes into the video, so I want to reward you for sticking around. You need to be promoting the products in your videos that you're trying to sell. Think about you watching a video yourself. You're not sitting there being like, I wonder what's in the description. I wonder what's in the pinned comment. You need to audibly talk to whatever you're offering. So you could say something like, And if you're interested in seeing my blueprint that I built for this video, click the link in this video's description to learn more. And then you're basically pitching your product, right? So you can see another channel in this particular space, the channel Antidote. They create really good book summaries. And so they create blueprints for each one of the videos that they release. And you can see here that they are actually, number one, adding that link in their video's description and also adding it as a pinned comment on the video. So people can easily access it from the comments. They can open up the video's description. But again, just want to double down and say again that if you do not mention it in the video, because someone could be chopping up food for their next meal. They could be on the treadmill, not really looking at the screen. You need to auditorily mention whatever you're trying to promote, okay? Promote, 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 and people will buy. Now, let's talk about rapid scaling. So we have the niche, we have the production process, we know how to pick the topics, we have the offer we want to sell. Fantastic. Now, how do we actually get those views in as fast as possible to start scaling up our income from an ad revenue perspective and from a sales perspective? So I suggest that you use the publish, pause, progress framework. All right, so let's talk about that now. What does publish mean? It means uploading videos onto YouTube. What does pause mean? It means that after each one of the videos you release, you look at the analytics. Are people dropping off in the first 30 seconds? How often are they dropping off? Where do you have dips? Where do you have spikes? And that's going to allow you to refine your videos over time because each video should be getting better than the last. And that's going to allow you to progress. But unfortunately, so many people, they just release videos. They never actually look at what's going wrong and what's going right. And so then they're just getting much, much slower traction and progress. And we don't want that because we're trying to get to $10,000 a month as fast as possible. So like I just mentioned, you want to do video level review. So we want to look at where people are dropping off. What's our retention in the first 30 seconds? Are we having any major dips in the video that could indicate, topics not to talk about, production issues with our videos, etc. And then we want to look at the testing. So I recommend you do A/B testing where you keep one variable consistent, like a title or a thumbnail, and then test the inverse by uploading 3 of the opposite. So either 3 different titles, same thumbnail, 3 different thumbnails, same title, so you can see what's actually working and what's not. If you start mixing and matching, you're never going to know what works. You also want to look at your channel's analytics from a channel-wide perspective. So I'm going to talk about each one of these for a second. Number one, you got to look at when people are watching your videos because the higher view velocity, which are views after a video gets released, the better signal for YouTube. So you want to release your video a few hours before people in your viewer range come online. So then within the first few hours, people are able to watch the video, enjoy it, and that sends positive signals to YouTube. You also want to make sure that you understand who's watching your videos. Because if you're making, book summary videos, and a lot of your stories in your videos are targeting people that are 17 years old and you're selling some sort of a product that's really catered more towards people that are older, then how are you expecting people to buy, right? So this is actually really good, what I found lately for title targeting, thumbnail design, topic selection, so on and so forth, right? So if your whole audience is 13 to 17 years old and you're creating videos around how to stay limber in your 50s, probably your audience is not going to like that too much. They're not going to click. They're not going to watch. So be mindful of who your audience is because audience is everything. That dictates who's watching, if they're going to click or not, so on and so forth. You also want to look at which videos on your channel are breaking out. If you have certain videos that are getting tons of views and others getting next to no views, then you probably want to avoid those topics that didn't perform so well and take on those other videos that are doing well from different angles. So maybe if it's a listicle of 10 items that you should throw out of your fridge, maybe it's 20 instead. Or maybe things to throw out before winter or before summer. Just examples like that, right? And if we want to know how I made hundreds of thousands of dollars at Faceless YouTube channels, just watch this next video.